people start speaking about a joke that Mubarak, when he dies, he met Abdel Nasser and Sadat. So both of them asked him, how you die? Poison or assassination? He said Facebook.
Islam Lotfy is one of a handful of young activists leading the Egyptian uprising. He helped organize the January 25th protest that sparked the revolt.
How was January 25? Where did the idea come from?
It was the spirit of Tunisia, you know?
Yeah. And
what happened in Tunisia gave a hope for everybody that we can do it again in Egypt.
Whether or not the movement succeeds, Lotfy, a lawyer by trade and Islamist by political persuasion, was there at the beginning.
You said we're done, but the people stayed.
On Monday, New York Times Cairo bureau chief David Kirkpatrick and reporter Mona El-Naggar accompanied Lotfy on his daily afternoon ride from work to Tahrir Square, the epicenter of the rebellion.
Maybe they will stop us.
If that's true, we should take that. Yeah.
We had to hide the camera as we passed army checkpoints.
Yeah,
we want the real democracy.
The organizers of the January 25th protest were an eclectic network of liberals, socialists, and Islamists. Their original demands: raise the minimum wage and fire the interior minister, who they accused of torturing Egyptians. Instead of going to old guard opposition politicians and intellectuals for support, Lotfy and his network went to the poor living in the slums.
And we walk inside a street, a large and very crowded street named Nahya Street. We enter them and we start to speak to the people. We divide ourselves, two people yelling, okay?
Yeah.
And other people went to cafes and shops and telling people why we are here. We enter Nahya Street with less than 200. And we get out with 10,000.
The crowd snowballed as they marched to Tahrir Square.
People start looking from windows and balconies saying, what is this? And then we start calling them to come and join us. And they did, a lot of them.
And what did you think when you were standing there in Tahrir Square full of tens of thousands?
Nobody will believe. Nobody will believe, no.
Lotfy says the call to take down the entire government and get rid of President Hosni Mubarak arose from the crowd, not the organizers. From there, many of the major decisions came from the people. They held the square for part of the night, eventually driven out by riot police and tear gas.
After 5 a.m., I back home. It was enough to me. I'm tired and I sniff a lot of gas, so it was enough for me.
Yeah.
In the morning at 8, I find one of my friends saying, are you on Tahrir Square? And I said, no. He said, who is there? And I said, I don't know. He said, no, you occupy the Tahrir, the square again. It was the people, not us.
The organizers decided to up the ante and create a massive demonstration Friday the 28th, which was dubbed the Day of Anger.
I was making a field test.
A field test? What do you mean?
The day before, Lotfy led a group of 20 through the back alleys of a working-class neighborhood, calling on people to join them to check the pulse of the street.
We started at 6 and we finished at 8. We started with 20, we finished with 3,000.
Wow.
And the funny thing, when we finished at 8, people refused to leave.
What day was this, Thursday?
Thursday.
The next day, hundreds of thousands converged on Tahrir Square. The government sent in riot police, but they were driven back by the protesters.
How did you guys keep it going, keep the people together in the face of the riot police?
But I'll not be able to express in English.
طب قولها بالعربي وانا هترجم.
مش عارف. يعني كنت حاسس ان الناس ملبوسة. كويس.
You feel that people are possessed.
كل واضح ان كل واحد من اصغر واحد لاكبر واحد
It was obvious that
عنده مشكلة او عنده طار مع النظام ده.
That everyone from the youngest to the oldest and perhaps everyone had just reached the point where they felt that either we need to live a better life or die. We're not going to give up and we're not going to get tired.
احنا اصحاب قضية ومعنا حق.
We have a cause and we are right.
هم اصحاب مصالح.
They are after their interests.
او خايفين.
And they're scared.
على مصالحهم.
As we inched along in Cairo traffic, a band passed on their way to a wedding. A couple had decided to get married in Tahrir Square.